Welcome, fool. You have come of your own free will to the appointed place.
Hello, welcome to Fool's Journey Books. My name is Alfie. I am back again in my rocking chair, here to talk about Dion Fortune today. This is about my 5th attempt to make this video. I've been trying a different sort of levels of scriptedness and non-scriptedness, and yeah, it's tricky, this video lark. I'm gonna keep working away at it. I'm determined to get something out like fairly often, just to increase the rate of, so that I just improve quicker. Because this is what I want to be doing. I want to be talking about these books that I'm finding, and sharing all of these great books with you. So, Dion Fortune, right? Let me just go get the books. Right. So I wanted to do a sort of top 5 essential Dion Fortune books video. So I'm going to mix that in here with so just some biography of Dion Fortune as well, because she's got a pretty interesting life. Dion Fortune was born Mary Violet Firth in 1890 in Llandudno in Wales. Her household was like very strictly Protestant, but she expressed interest early on in psychic phenomena and mysticism. She would go on to train in Freudian psychoanalysis, which is a word that I really hate to pronounce. Psychoanalysis. And that would later go on to inform her worldview. As we all know, Freud is a secret occultist. Jung, less secret, more occult. According to her, she had her first sort of psychic occult awakening in her early 20s. In the early 1910s, we would find her joining the Theosophical Society, but she found its abstract metaphysics unsatisfying. So she moved on from that. Later on, she entered the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn via the Alpha et Omega Temple. And she learned all about Kabbalah and ceremonial magic, things that would go on to influence her, for the rest of her life. And it was around this time that she adopted the name Dion Fortune, which she took from the Roman goddess Fortuna and the Greek god of wine, Dionysus. Good combo. In 1924, she broke away from the occult societies that she was a member of to make her own occult society, the Fraternity of the Inner Light, which she later renamed to the Society of the Inner Light. And when you see Dion Fortune books, often the copyright is held by the Society of the Inner Light. And this organization became a key training ground for people entering the Western mystery occult tradition. Her teachings focused on ceremonial magic, astral work, psychic hygiene. Magic is not just ritual for Dion Fortune. It's a way of aligning the soul with spiritual laws and archetypal powers. Dion Fortune died in January 1946 at the age of 55 from leukemia. Her influence is still felt in Wiccan and witchcraft-based systems of magic, ceremonial magical orders, esoteric psychology and mysticism, and just generally in the occult field. The Society of the Inner Light still exists today. She can act as a sort of bridge between the Victorian magical revival and contemporary occult thought. There are even those that would claim that Dion Fortune had a pivotal role in the Allies' success during World War II, and that would in fact have a role in sort of weakening her or diminishing her powers to such an extent that would cause her death. But that's a whole video or group of videos to get into on its own. So one of the most important ones here is the Cosmic Doctrine, which can sort of function as a sort of fundamental world building text for the cosmology that Dion Fortune had. It covers a lot of concepts here, like the ring cosmos and ring chaos, that are like fundamental to the way that she approached mysticism in general. This channeled text that she received is not meant to be a load of information as to how the universe is structured, but it's meant to be like a training tool so that you can train your spirit and your will and your mind to be able to understand how the universe is structured. It's just really interesting, especially considering how influential she is for like the history of the Western occult tradition in the last century and a half. So also in my little stack, we have applied magic, which is a way of sort of bringing the occult into the everyday mundane life. It sort of summarizes a lot of key concepts and key ideas and has some like practical, fundamental applied things you can do. So it's a good one to pick up if you're like a beginner or looking for a primer, as I am. Deals with things like auras, dreams, the subconscious, healing, protection, magnetism, how magic functions in things as mundane as conversation within your home, within workplaces, and the hidden influences of energies in all these places. So here we have a magical narrative experiment, or novel, as it's also known, The Goatfoot God by Dion Fortune. And it's sort of set within pagan revivalism and like Pan worship. I'll read you a little plot summary here. A spiritually disillusioned man, following the death of his wife, encounters a mysterious woman and a ritual group that centers on the ancient god Pan. Through magical work and inner transformation, he reconnects with vitality, nature, and the pagan mysteries. So yeah, The Goatfoot God. Next up, we have Aspects of Occultism, which is one of her sort of introductory level texts, again, on occult philosophy. Here's some of the contents here. Gods and the Gods, Sacred Centers, Christianity and Reincarnation, the Astral Plane, the Worship of Isis, some helps to meditation, teachings concerning the aura, pitfalls of spiritual healing, power, tides and cycles, and the death of Vivian Le Fay Morgan. I mean, if that doesn't draw you in, then I don't know what would. And then the preface as well has some interesting stuff going on. Preface. The works of the late Dion Fortune were written a long time ago, and since then a great deal more has been understood and realized, so that many of the ideas then expressed are not now necessarily acceptable. Also, much of what she wrote was written from the viewpoint of the psychic. Psychism is simply one type of inner awareness, and there are other types at least as valid and as common. Non-psychic readers, therefore, can translate experience in terms of psychic imagery into terms of their own inner awareness. It's a nice little copy. I really like the design on Dion Fortune books in general. And this one is beautiful. The Training and Work of an Initiate, which has a lovely tree of life from the Kabbalah there on the front, with a nice design. And this is the second edition from 1955 by the Aquarium Press. And this one is more about like the discipline and, as it says, work of people who are either trying to take a more disciplined approach in their solo magical practice, or if they are actually within an initiatory system. It sort of just details like best practice, I guess you could say, to use a modern corporate speak, and like what you might expect and what might be the best way to get the most from it. It's an aspect of occultism that's sort of like understood to be, we know that there are initiatory orders, but like a guide for how to do that well is something that I think is a really interesting thing to have, especially from someone like Fortune, who went through two really famous seminal institutions, being the Theosophical Society and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and then started her own, the Society of the Inner Light. Just like an interesting view on that aspect of it. And it has different parts. It has the part 1, the ethical; part 2, the theoretical; part 3, the practical. She knew how to write a good guidebook, And there we have it, a load of stuff about Dion Fortune, including some biographical information and 5 books that I would recommend you get. There is another book that we have in the bookshop, which is Practical Occultism, that I'll show on the screen now. I have 2 different copies of that. One is earlier than the other. But that's a beautiful little edition as well. And there'll be more content soon. Do follow Fool's Journey Books here on YouTube to see that. And find me at Fool's Journey Weird Books on Instagram. And I haven't posted yet, but I'm on Fool's Journey Books on TikTok as well. Look forward to seeing you there. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.